This is now ARRON Hernandez's new reality, the medium security facility here behind me, where he woke up in a jail cell this morning all by himself. This after he was arrested yesterday, charged with murder, released by the New England Patriots, and the judge denying him bail.
The defendant not guilty, guilty of murder in the first degree, or guilty of murder in the second degree?
Guilty of murder in the first degree.
Madam Foreperson, by which theory or theories deliberate premeditation and or extreme atrocity or cruelty?
Extreme atrocity or cruelty.
The former Florida Gator and Patriot star found dead in his prison cell.
Yo, YouTube, what it is, good people, we back, baby. Another day on Keep It G News. And before I get into what we here for today, I got an honorable mention, man. Or a dishonorable mention, but I need to mention it. So a couple days ago, I did a video on this correctional officer that sexually assaulted 22 female inmates. He haven't been charged yet, but it's been investigated and the claims has been substantiated. Last of my knowledge, he haven't been charged. But when I was doing that video, I was talking about how whenever you got these type of situations, yo, they don't be trying to give you the picture of these people. You feel me? And I feel that these people need to be shown, because I don't think they should be able to walk with the general public incognito. If you're doing weird stuff like this, we need to know who you are. You know what I mean? Keep our kids away from you. Straight up. Especially if you're a neighbor to them. But somebody close to this situation actually seen that video and decided to send me a picture of Mr. Gregory Hernandez. And here he is. This is the guy, through investigation, claims that the claims was made that he had sexually assaulted 22 female inmates at a correctional facility in California. You know what I mean? So now we know who he is. Now you know, and it's not to bring him no damage, no harm. We don't want that. No, hell no. But you need to know who he is, so when you see this motherfucker, you know, man, hey, that's you on that bullshit, man. Get away from me, man. You sick. I mean, don't try to blend in with the people that make sense. We ain't with that. But today, man, we talking about ARRON Hernandez. Well, not really him, but his ex-fiancée, Shayanna Jenkins. And the reason why this is important, before I get to what we actually here for, is because we didn't all dealt with death. We didn't all had situations where, like a grandparent in the past, and they might leave an inheritance. And I know me personally, not in my life, but I have seen this done, where a inheritance is supposed to be left to someone, and then another family member gets in and manipulate the whole situation. Now this person who supposed to got the inheritance don't get nothing. You feel me? I'm sure we all know these type of situations in our family or in our circle of people that we deal with. You feel me? But that's not really what happened with Shayanna Jenkins' case. But it's something similar. It could lead to this. So before I get into this video, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, man. Like, comment, share, man. Straight up. And let's roll. The fight started in September when Shayanna Jenkins Hernandez said she couldn't afford a $10,697 bill for her daughter's dance lessons. So the former fiancé of disgraced New England Patriot star ARRON Hernandez asked the court upon the trustee to pay the bill from a trust fund that had been set up for their daughter, Evielle, after Hernandez died by suicide while in prison and murdered in 2017. But the trustee, attorney David Schwartz, said no. By his calculations, Jenkins Hernandez had already was receiving a separate source fund outside the trust, $150,000 a year or more, from Hernandez's NFL pension and Social Security that was supposed to pay for the 10-year-old's daily expenses. He couldn't imagine why she needed more. Then Schwartz reviewed how Jenkins Hernandez had been spending the money. $36,858 on clothing, including maternity wear, $39,347 on home goods, $25,577 on shopping online, $11,792 in self-care, including gym fees and visits to hair and nail salons. There's a reason to question whether the expenditures were for Evielle's benefit, said attorney Robert O'Regan, who was representing Schwartz in the court dispute. To be fair, this little girl should have had a decent life with her father left for her. No one would complain if there were reasonable expenses. We're talking about over-the-top or otherwise unrelated expenses to AVL. Now Schwartz and Jenkins-Hernandez are locked in a battle over who controls the money that remained after the death of Hernandez, who hung himself in prison after being convicted of murdering ODIN LOYD, the boyfriend of Jenkins-Hernandez's sister. Just a few days before his death, Hernandez was acquitted for a separate double murder in South End. When Schwartz declined to pay Avial's dance bill, Jenkins-Hernandez promptly asked the Bristol County probate judge to remove him as trustee, arguing he was potentially forcing the child to give her her favorite extracurricular activity. Jenkins-Hernandez, who gave birth to a second daughter by another man in 2018, insists she hasn't improperly spent money, and the money from the trust fund should be available when she needed. Since Aaron's death, my sole focus has been raising and providing as a stable life for my children as possible, wrote Jenkins-Hernandez in an email to the Globe. All monies I have spent with this singular focus in mind, and this will continue to be my focus going forward. Her lawyer, Stephen Weathers, called the controversy much to do about nothing. What Shayanna has done is focus on her children. Any allegations or insinuations that she's been spending money inappropriately for any other purpose is absolutely false. But Schwartz in court papers said Jenkins-Hernandez appears to have broken the rules and has asked that she be moved from Avial's conservator, a court appointment that allowed her to set up the trust fund Schwartz now administers. If she loses that role, a new conservator will receive Hernandez's pension and Social Security checks and decide how the money should be spent. The downfall of ARRON Hernandez was one of the most shocking in American sports history, as the Patriots star tight end was revealed to be a brutal killer, exposing the ugly underside of the NFL. The Boston Globe Spotlight team found that Hernandez had long been prone to wild mood swings and sudden violence. After death, his brain showed signs of CTE, which can be caused by repeated blows to the head, but the warning signs were overlooked as long as he was catching touchdown passes. Jenkins-Hernandez, who started dating Hernandez when both were in high school in Bristol, Connecticut, testified as a prosecution witness during the murder trial, but has insisted her fiancé was innocent. She told the jurors that day after the killing of Lloyd she removed the box from the couple's 7,100 square foot North Attleboro home at Hernandez's direction and discarded it. Authorities believe the box contained the murder weapon, which was never found. After his death, Jenkins-Hernandez took her fiancé's name and unsuccessfully sued the NFL over his diagnosis of CTE. Nothing can bring back the high-flying NFL lifestyle she once knew. At one point, according to court documents, her daughter, Aviel, was receiving public assistance, and because Jenkins-Hernandez and Hernandez were never married and he died without a will, any assets would go to Aviel, his sole heir, not her. Jenkins-Hernandez did not have a job either, according to her attorney. Even so, the settlement of Hernandez's estate, including the sale of their North Attleboro mansion, brought Jenkins-Hernandez some financial stability. The trust administered by Schwartz paid for her current Rhode Island home and all related expenses, as well as Aviel's school tuition. Separately, Jenkins-Hernandez directly received Hernandez's pension and Social Security payments, although Schwartz said those funds, too, are supposed to be spent exclusively for the benefit of her daughter. As a conservator for her daughter, Jenkins-Hernandez was supposed to file annual disclosures for the last several years as to how she was spending the money. But in court papers, Schwartz says she only recently began submitting them. Schwartz was shocked by what he saw in the expenditure forms. Tens of thousands of dollars in what he called questionable expenses, such as $4,800 in charges at Harrod's department store, that seemed to benefit her more than her daughter. She made $29,650 in ATM withdrawals and paid $13,778 in bank charges, mostly overdraft fees. There is every reason to question whether and how Jenkins-Hernandez is applying the significant resources that should be available to pay for Aviel's daily needs, including dance lessons, especially since all of her basic housing, security, and educational expenses are paid from the trust, wrote O'Regan, a partner in law firm Byrne and Levinson, in a filing submitted on Schwartz's behalf. Schwartz was particularly concerned that Jenkins-Hernandez reported spending $39,655 on education, including $3,720 for Bay Path University, a private university in Western Massachusetts. Aviel is not in college, wrote O'Regan, and her school bills are already paid for from the trust. Jenkins-Hernandez also spent $12,830 on something called Ask My Accountant. Neither Jenkins-Hernandez nor her lawyer would explain what that is or disclose any other specific expenditures. I filed the accountant on her behalf and feel comfortable that we are appropriate, Weathers said. Questions can be easily answered. Anything she has done been wholly appropriate, and I look forward to this matter being beneficially resolved and this distraction put behind her. Our focus is making sure Aviel has the best life she can, and that's what Shayanna is focused on, he said. Oregon does not question Jenkins-Hernandez's devotion to FEL, but wonders if she felt entitled to Hernandez's money. We're dealing with a human behavior here, Oregon told the Globe. If you're someone like Shayanna, someone in this situation with ARRON, who was an NFL superstar for a championship football team who dies and leaves a child, you might think you get to spend the money any way you want. Nobody told her she can't, or she's not listening. The motions from both sides are pending, and Schwartz has requested the case be transferred to a special court that deals with complex disputes like this. A hearing on Jenkins-Hernandez's motion to force Schwartz to pay for the dance lesson was supposed to be heard last month, but was canceled. According to others, Jenkins-Hernandez was able to make other arrangements to pay for FEL's dance lesson. Going forward, Oregon argues Jenkins-Hernandez should no longer be entrusted with the funds for her daughter, who is eligible to receive the trust fund when she turns 27. Currently, the fund contains around $700,000. I believe that Jenkins-Hernandez has been co-mingling the child funds with her own, wrote Oregon in the court filing. I believe that Ms. Jenkins-Hernandez's ongoing conflict, her almost 5-year-long record of extensive expenditures, continuously violation of this court decree, and her failure to file an inventory and up-to-date account of all indicate that despite what might be her best intentions, Ms. Jenkins-Hernandez is not effectively performing her duties as a conservator. So, ARRON Hernandez was on his way to superstardom as an NFL player. If you're not old enough, go back and do some research. He came out the same year as, what's the guy's name? The big goofy one. They used to play for the Patriots, the tight end, Gronkowski. Came out the same year, was a beast. And they actually have done documentaries on this guy, and they painted him out to be some type of serial killer while playing football. Like, the story is crazy. The trial was even crazier. You feel me? And if y'all paid attention to that trial, if you're old enough, Shayanna Jenkins stuck with him the whole trial. The whole trial. I saluted her the whole time. Because if that's your man, rock with him. You don't leave. I don't believe you leave people when they're going through tough times. No, that's one of the worst things you can do, in my opinion. But she stayed firm. Actually got on the stand and was accused of lying because it was a trash bag that she was on camera taking out. The state said it was the gun. She said she don't know what was in it, and stood on that, testified to that. But when you got to deal with this money situation, so the money is supposed to be left to the daughter. And in this situation, I actually understand both sides. I understand where the conservator is coming from, and I understand where she coming from, because she rocked with him from the beginning. Been together since high school. And the conservator is basically there for the child's interest. They got to make sure this child get everything that she deserves to get. You know what I mean? But when you deal with some of these purchases that was made, I really don't think that they that far off from her lifestyle or the normal lifestyle of somebody her stature. Now, she not no super millionaire, but $150,000 a year, that's good money. That's good money for her not to be working. But I think she should be able to spend what she want to spend, because I don't think that she's going to make sure her child, I don't think she's going to leave her child out there in the dark. I really don't. Even though it can happen. It can happen. Even though that might not be her intentions, it can happen. So I want to know how y'all feel about this. Should she be able to get this money when she need it? Or should she be restricted? She held him down. You know what I mean? She held him down from the start. But he's dead and gone now. And if y'all not familiar with what ARRON Hernandez did, in order for his family to get this money, he actually had to commit suicide. Because in the state of Massachusetts, if you don't exhaust all your appeals once you get a life sentence, then you can die and be considered not guilty. Like the whole sentence is vacated. So that's how he was able to even get his family that money. That was real smart by him, to make sure his daughter and his ex-wife or his ex-fiance had some type of stability while he was gone, because he was ready to lose it all. But like I said, I want to know how y'all feel about this, man. Should she be able to touch the money when she need it? Or $150,000 is a lot of money. Why don't you got this money to pay for the dance practice? Now, she ended up paying for it eventually. Do y'all think it's a money grab? Or is her, the way she going about it, is it genuine? Let me know, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, support the real, man. I'm Keep It G blogger. This is Keep It G News, and I'm out.